Three, two, one. Welcome to Bellwether. Happy 2023. Whole new year. Same old podcast, but it's still going to be really good stuff. Today's episode, we're going to talk about 2023. The big plans for the year, what I think is going to be incredibly influential for 2023 and what to look out for in 2023. I'll do a quick recap of 2022 because that informs much of what I think about 2023 because this is an ongoing cycle. And it's going to be good. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be good. And this episode, I think, is really important. And I'm really excited about it because there's really good things coming up for 2023. Let's start with last year. Let's start with 2022. It sucked. 2022 sucked. And when we look at 2020, 2021, 2022, we're 3 years of pandemic. We're entering our fourth year of the pandemic. And it's probably going to suck as well. And, I remember back at the beginning of the pandemic, people were talking about how it's going to be a 10-year challenge and people laughed. But that was kind of prescient because we're now entering, the fourth year of a pandemic, which is crazy. And so coming out the other end, we're coming into a completely different world. And the amount of change that's happening is immense. 2022, the third year of the pandemic, was a bunch of garbage. War going on, this big stupid debate on remote versus hybrid work versus back to the office, this ongoing fear of a recession, the economic downturn that started last year. It's going to really kick up, I think, in 2023, although some people now are saying it won't. Stupid sayings last year like quiet quitting and quiet firing and all that other stuff. And if you were to package all of that up, I would almost say it was just this year of trying to find a place, trying to find relevancy, trying to figure out where we fit and come up with something that would resonate. And when we do that, it's just a year of just unknown stress. I call it the fear of the unknown. We know something is coming. We just don't know when. And we know the facts. We know what's going to happen. They just haven't been realized yet. So it's always what's around the corner, what's around the corner, what's around the corner. And that's really been troublesome for a lot of people in 2022. It's going to continue into 2023. And the challenge with that we have is that we forget about what's happening today. It's always what's around the corner, what's around the corner, what's around the corner. So the challenge is, I think general agreement, 2022 sucked. Not many people would say, yeah, 2022 was a great year. But mindset has shifted, and I think it's probably laid the groundwork, almost like a pain threshold, right? The more pain you experience, the tougher you get. I feel like we have shifted. Behaviors have started to change. Mindset has changed. We're seeing many of the things that we took for granted aren't actually there. Like everything we took for granted, all the assumptions we had, were really kept together by like chicken bones and Band-Aids. And a lot of our expectations and assumptions are going to be disrupted in 2023. And it's not new normal. That's stupid. But we're a little slow to get these new realizations and confusion. You go through the grocery store and shelves are empty. And different things as well, just the things that we would normally have, and we're going to be pinching pennies and everything else. And so, is the age of abundance in America over? Is a philosophical question to ponder that I've been thinking a lot. What's the cost of abundance? What have we paid to have everything so readily available? And are we prepared to change for that? And I think that's a lot of the consumer behavior. It's big for the U.S. is going to change. It has to change. We are a consumer nation. Even Mr. Rogers used to talk about that. And that was his big thing like 40 years ago was, we're raising little consumers, but we have to change that. We have to change that mentality. And, it's a personal hope of mine that we can kind of change this consumer fashion. But so that's 2022. I think that's the beginning of 2022 and what that means for us for this year. Let's talk about it because in addition to what the ongoing pandemic is going to teach us, we have some cool stuff that just came out that's going to blow our socks off. This AI is here. OpenAI, ChatGPT, and more. It's creating the stir, and that's They're creating a stir not for what they can do. Everyone's talking about, oh, they can write high school kids news reports and essays, and they can do, they can make our meal schedule for the week. It's more about what's possible and what they're going to do, and it's giving us this little glimpse. We've been talking about AI for 20 years, and it's now here, and tangible and accessible, and it's incredibly unsettling, but it's awesome. And so people are scared about what it means, and people are very afraid of it. And I'm here to say, don't be afraid, because it's here. It's not going away. So you may as well embrace it. But we're focused on the wrong things. We're not. I'm not terribly concerned that high school kids won't have to write papers, right? We have to go beyond that. We have to say, why do high school kids write papers? It's to show that they know how to think and that they understand concepts and that they can formulate thought. And so we just have to figure out a new way for them to express that. And we have to figure out a new way to teach, and we have to figure out a new way to think. And that's what's really amazing about it. And that's what is really unsettling, is that we have to teach ourselves a new way to think. And that's what 2023 is going to be all about. We're going to be teaching ourselves a new way to approach challenges. We have to think in terms of how to give instruction. We have to think about how to give parameters and how to make specific requests for what we want. And it's the way we should have been thinking for a long time. When we think about management, we think about leadership, we have to think about specificity. And in order to get what you want, you have to be very specific in how you ask for it. And AI now is that way. And it's almost kind of that little jolt that we needed. But we all have to create something now using AI as the backbone. And where this evolves is fun to really think about, but that's not relevant for today. Everyone's going to have their own AI and your own AI, your personal AI and all that other stuff. And that's great. And that's cool. It's scary as well. But we have to now create and challenge in a new kind of way. Like when I think about work and what this means for work, yeah, it's going to make jobs irrelevant, but that doesn't mean anything, right? We've been saying that forever. It's going to be uncomfortable to work. And, when we hear coaches and people talk about how you have to embrace discomfort and you have to embrace the challenges, this is almost, this is the manifestation of that. And, when we think about work, there's comfort in the stupid busy work that we do because it's easy. We can turn our brains off. We can give them a rest. We're good at it. That little kind of shuffling papers and doing whatever. And it allows us to procrastinate. We can just kind of go and do whatever. And it's our excuse as to why we're not going to get after it today. And we've been getting after it for so long that we're just exhausted. AI, that changes now. AI is going to do your busy work. And, we always talk about how we're busy. We always talk about all this work that we're doing. We're not really busy. We're not doing smart work. Some of us are, right? Some of us are, and sometimes we are. But AI now is going to eliminate a lot of that stupid procrastinating. There's really no excuse to fill your time with this stuff that I used to love doing. And it's that busy work. And so how do we respond to that? And how do we embrace that? And how do we use that? And what does that mean for us as individuals? And so when I think about 2023, I'm calling this the year of 4 eyes, the letter I. And I don't know if it's because my kid's into Sesame Street right now. You're right. The letter of the year is I. And it just settled that way, whatever. It's not, it's not like the stupid marketing kind of the 4 eyes of 2023. But here's what it means for you and how you as an individual can respond. So that's all theory. That's all theoretical, right? This is exciting and this is going to change things and it's great and it's here and blah, 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 blah. How do you respond? What's important for you? That's the important stuff. So let's get to that. Number one, the first I of 2023 is identity. We have not done the work. Many of us have not done the work we haven't done the work of who we are. We've scratched the surface a little bit. We think about it sometimes, we reflect, but when we must make change, and that's what this is forced change upon us. But it's the same. You want to make resolutions, right? A New Year's resolution, we're at the beginning of the year. New Year's resolution is a request for change, and we're trying to make this change. Whether it's a resolution, whether it's forced change, the only way it's going to work for us is if we make it part of our identity. And so, for example, what do I mean by that? It's got to be core to who we are. If your New Year's resolution is to lose weight, Your identity has to be, you now have to become, at your core, a skinny person. And you have to make decisions that a skinny person would make, right? Skinny people eat skinny things. Fat people eat fat things. And I know I'm making overly simplistic, and that's not, it sounds a little insensitive too, but ultimately that's what you're looking to do, is what decisions are you making each day that would allow you to lose the 30 pounds you're looking to lose. And that's fine. You could do that for a sustained period of time, but resolutions, the reason they fail isn't because we don't have good discipline. It's because we haven't made them core to our identity. When things get difficult, when things get stressful, we default back to our identity just to make quick decisions. And so how do you make your quick decisions that of a skinny person? Or if you want to be a new executive, you want to get a new job, you want to get a promotion, how are you making decisions as that person? You want to be a chief marketing officer. What decisions do a chief marketing officer make at the organization, and how are you thinking like that so that when difficult things happen, you are elevating to that level so that it's automatic? And that's part of your identity. And that's resolution stuff. But when change is being forced on who it is that you wish to be, we have to anchor ourselves to this identity because this change is being thrust upon us. And so we have to figure out what is, and I've beaten the dead horse on this so many times, but what is the belief system? What do you believe? Who are you as an individual? It goes beyond just simple resolutions. It goes beyond diet. It goes beyond, I'm going to resolve to go to sleep early, or I'm going to go to the gym every week. It's what do you believe? That's part of the identity that we as individuals are going to have to answer for ourselves. And that's one for 2023, because technology is going to disrupt it. It's going to change who we are as an individual. And for most people, their biggest part of their identity is their work. And the busy work's going away, and AI is about to disrupt it. And we fear that. And so we have to really think through and identify who it is that we are as an individual so that we are comfortable, or at least more comfortable, making this change. So that's one. That's identity. Number two, the second I of 2023 is intentionality. We now have to be incredibly intentional with what we're doing day to day. And here's what I mean by that. Presence is a big word. All right, we're talking, that was the big word the last maybe 5 to 7 years, maybe 10 years, about being present in the moment. Don't worry about tomorrow. It hasn't happened yet. Don't worry about the past. It's the past. Be present on today. And so presence is a big word, but so is intentionality. And without intentionality, someone once told me, without intentionality, you're just spinning wheels. And that's true, but without intentionality, we're not getting what we want. And I think about this through the lens of technology and AI. The world is changing around us. So intentionality, we used to just hire someone to do something for us. And that was great, right? We would say, hey, go create this social media calendar. Go put together this project plan. Go do whatever. And we assume that they knew what they were doing. And a lot of times, and I could tell you this, I've hired marketing companies and they didn't know what they were doing, right? They just blew a bunch of smoke. And it's probably the same with coaching and a lot of other things, is do people know what they're actually promising? Well, with AI, a lot of those things that people are selling, you can use AI for. But in order to use it appropriately, you have to be very intentional in what you ask. And it's the same with management. It's the same with outsourcing to other organizations. We have to be intentional with what is that end vision that we wish to see. I've trusted too many people to get work done, but my problem wasn't that they weren't good enough. My problem was that I wasn't intentional in my request. And I didn't know how to do that and talk about what I wanted and how to elevate them. And so once I've learned that with AI, I'm going to be incredibly intentional, and I've been incredibly intentional with the other people that I've worked with. I'm getting better results. And so intentionality, being specific in terms of what you want in terms of being successful, is going to be very important this year. When you pair that with identity, it's incredibly powerful. So let's talk about numbers 3 and 4. The other I's, those were the two big ones. And then I was like, you can't just have 2 I's for 2023. So I came up with a third, but then it ended up being like 3, 4. So it's inquisitiveness. And I go with an inquisitive intellectuality for 3 and 4. we have to learn a new way to learn through questions. And we are capable of using AI and doing incredible things. And we are very smart, but we have to ask really good questions. And we shouldn't be fearing things like AI. We shouldn't be fearing any. I'm very heavy on AI this week, but we need to embrace it, and we need to ask questions and become familiar with it. And that's going to make us smarter. We can use AI to improve all of these other things. We can see all of these things that are changing. We have to embrace it. There are people right now who are diving in so deep into this AI technology on a consumer level, on a day-to-day level, that you're being left behind. But we can learn from it. It's not going to like completely leave you behind, but your life is going to get better when you understand it more and can talk about it more. Whether it's something like crypto, whether it's something like blockchain, whether it's something like AI, these are the things these are not going away. They're not going away, and they're nerve-wracking. But when, I don't know if there is an I word for accountability, but the people who do well in 2023, there's a lot more on the horizon. Accountability. It's up to you to answer those 4 I's. The identity, your identity, the intentionality and being specific in what you want, and then being that curious, that intellectual, that inquisitive intellectuality. It's on you, and the people who take ownership and responsibility for that are willing to have the uncomfortable conversations with themselves. Those are the ones that are going to come out okay. And that's it. That's 2023 in a nutshell. It's a big one. This is a big year, and it will go. Time moves on, right? I mean, time is just a concept. You could say it doesn't exist if you want, but time will move on. And come June, you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe half this year is over. And you're still going to be stressed out, and you're still going to be worried, and new things will come out and new things to distract us. But if you want to be focused on you and making your world better, those are the areas that I'm talking to clients about. When I'm working with executive leadership teams, those are the things. We need executive leaders to be intentional. We need executive leaders to know who they are so that they can lead other people. That's the work in a nutshell. So have a great week. Have a great year. 2023 is it. We're going to do it. Go team, go. Call me. I'm happy to help. More to come this year. I'm kind of taking off the gloves on the podcast. I think one of the next ones is going to be what to do with all the white guys in the office, because there's a lot of change there. That's another big thing. So that might be next week or the week after. So tune in for that. And if you want anything, you want me to cover anything, let's talk about it. It's too much is going on to kind of dance around the flowers. Let's just hit it head on. So have a great week. I'm looking forward to a lot of really good stuff this year, and I'm always here to help. So thanks. Talk to you soon.